Hello everyone. I am finally sharing my Schmincke Granulating Palette with you guys, and I've been wanting to do this a while, but I'm still tweaking it a little bit, and I've been playing with this since February and having so much fun. And as many of you know, I became obsessed with the Schmincke Super Granulating colors, all of them, and they're a lot of fun to play with, but most of them are honestly convenient mixes, and so I thought I don't want any part of like overhyping them. So I, of course, just wanted to go and make my own, and I've been loving all, while I've been loving all of the Schmincke versions, and I highly recommend getting the dot chart before you purchase any, because you can get the dot chart and swatch out all of these lovely colors, and then you can look up the pigment information and try to mix it on your own to make sure you can't, you know, mix it yourself and save yourself some money. So highly recommend that. It kind of gives you ideas for what mixes you can make, and sometimes it's mixes that I hadn't thought of. And I've loved granulating colors for a while. The only two colors that I haven't been able to find anywhere else are the Volcano Yellow and Volcano Red. Those you will need to get. You can get the individual pan or tube, but they also come in these sets. So they have the small sets, and then they have the larger wood box sets, which I'll show this in a future haul video if I ever get time. Had a few of you ask me to share this, my Schmincke Granulating Palette. So I'll have all of my Schmincke Super Granulating colors that came already, you know, mixed for me on my large palette. When I went to make my own palette, I told you guys back in, I think, November, I was going to make my own palette. And I was planning on doing it with the mixes, but I found myself, once I made this, I've had so much fun. I honestly haven't got around to pouring all these into half pans. I will eventually, but it's on my large ceramic palette, so I still have them. But I thought I would share these because I had a few requests to share. I've got it pretty much how I want it, so I thought we would do some comparisons, and I thought it might be helpful. What I had been playing with, the way I had it. And so I was using Volcano Yellow, Volcano Red, Potter's Pink, Volcano Violet, Manganese Violet, Cobalt Violet Hue, French Ultramarine, and then I think this one was Cobalt Azure or Cobalt Cerulean. I'm really not sure. I'm sorry, I can't remember which that is. And Cobalt Turquoise, of course. Cobalt Turquoise. Ooh, what is this? Sorry, I'm gonna have to take this out. Cobalt Green Turquoise. I'll just pop that back in. The Viridian, and I found that the Viridian and the Chrome Oxide Brilliant, they're too similar and they're not making any difference in mixes. So I definitely want to switch that one out. And so I thought that I would swatch some of these other colors that I have and test them, and that you guys might like to see the process. Fun to kind of mix and play. Yeah, experimenting and having new palettes, and the colors always inspire me. So here I have some other granulating colors, and these are colors that I haven't used that much. So I love to experiment with them, and so many different colors you can make out of this one little pan. So it's truly the little gift that keeps giving, that I'm going to compare to some of the other colors in my palette, and then I'll decide what I'm going to keep in my palette. So first I have Raw Umber, and this is made from PBR7 and PY42, so a brown pigment and a yellow pigment. I'm going to just put that there. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on here, and then I will we'll do a little bit of mixing as well, but first I just wanted to put them on here to swatch them out. Okay, so next I have Cobalt Cerulean, Cobalt Blue Deep, and Hematite Black. I definitely know I want to take this Chromium Oxide Brilliant. It is a very pretty color, but I just enjoy Viridian so much more that this one's getting the boot, and it will go in another palette another time, but for this purposes, it's getting kicked out. And so if I ever do my March favorites video, even though it's like April 22nd today. If I ever do that video, I might just do a new one, I don't know. But if you see that video, know that I have changed that. This is Cobalt Cerulean. for that. So this is a really pretty blue, and let's see if we can get it to get some granulation. And with granulation, the more water you add, sometimes it makes it granulate more. And you can see some color separation, and that's why they're so fascinating. And I recently found out that the reason why Schmincke didn't used to have very many granulating colors, they used to be what I would recommend to beginners, because they didn't have very many granulating colors that would make people be like, what the heck is wrong with my paint? So, but because granulation used to be kind of like frowned upon, but I think Daniel Smith has maybe opened people's minds to, hey, actually that's pretty cool. So let's see if we can get, let's see if we can show that, make that come out. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry, and that will probably help. And then this is Cobalt Blue Deep. And this is really pretty. This looks pretty similar to, I really want to have different colors. So this looks like it's too similar to French Ultra. Next is Hematite Black, and I'm going to put it down here because I know I want to compare it with Mars Black that I have in now, and I'm pretty sure that will stay, but I just thought, let's compare and see what we get when we do some mixes. All right, so here is raw umber, and I should have just put this on the plate, but I was trying to be quick. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so on looks, I definitely like this one better. So I already have Maroon Brown, Mahogany Brown, and Indian Red. But the Indian Red, I think, is the one I was thinking about taking out. So let's just do the browns first. So we've got Maroon Brown. I think it was between, I know I'm keeping Mahogany Brown because that's been a long time favorite of mine for granulating brown. This is why you can easily tell which are my real favorites because they're the ones in the full pans. Those would be my must-haves. And so that would be Potter's Pink, Manganese Violet, French Ultra Marine, Cobalt Turquoise, Mahogany Brown, Mars Black. I also use the Yellow Gold because I had it in one of my previous paint sets, and I love mixing granulating and adding a bit of gold. That's one thing I like to do. I kind of wish I would have got Cobalt Green Turquoise in a full pan, but I didn't. And Viridian. Viridian Green, I had to make my own full pan, so that's why it doesn't quite match. It's just a Jackson's full pan. You can get these individually, but that's why it's not bright white. It sits a little higher. Yeah, it drives me a little crazy, but it wasn't on sale at the time. So anyway, let's compare the browns. I know I'm going to keep Mahogany Brown, but I'm gonna swatch it just so you guys can see. It's very pretty. And then Indian Red. Indian Red is pretty much like a Caput Mortem. So it's very interesting. So I think I need to decide between the Maroon Brown and this Mars Brown. From the color, I would pick Mars Brown, but let's do a little bit of mixing and see how they granulate and everything like that. So I'm going to take a bit of this and mix it in and see what we get. That's pretty. So I think it was Cobalt Azure, and I don't know, I took it out to borrow it to make another palette, and now I don't know where it went. So I wish I could compare that for you guys. But when you look, if you look at the pigment information, it tells you right on the side. If you're new to watercolors, it tells you right on the side the pigment information. So you do always want to check before you make your color selection. Of course, you always want to check not only the pigment information, but the light fast ratings. So you can read, it says PB 18 and PB 29. So just like when you turn your food and you see the ingredients on the back, it tells you what's in there. You don't know the exact proportions or anything. That's all their secret recipe. So you can look right at the side and see that it's made out of basically ultramarine and Viridian. So when you mix the two, you get the same thing. So basically when you take Viridian, which is a little hard to re-wet, so you got to be a little patient with it. In fact, I think I'll let that sit just a minute. And French Ultra, then you will get a very similar color to one of my favorite convenient colors, which is the Deep Sea Green. So we'll just, now I think Kimberly Crick did make a really nice video. If you guys are interested in this more, I'm sure she went into a lot more detail. I haven't watched it because she makes wonderful videos, but I never want to like, copy her, I guess you could say. So I'll show you. So then that is all it takes to make this. But then you also get the benefit of, I love having the convenience mix, and there's nothing wrong with it as long as you know it is a convenience mix. But the benefit is you can mix the Viridian. When you have them separate, you can make more colors. So that is why, you know, plus it's just so fun. You're kind of keeping yourself from the fun if you buy all the convenient mixes. So here we have the one I just made, and I didn't even try that hard, but let's see how close I got just doing it really quick and easy. And then this one looks like it has more blue. So I just would need to put more blue and I would have it. This is the raw umber. Try it with, let's try it with some French ultramarine. So that looks almost like in one of the Galaxy Blue. One of the blues, either the Deep Sea or the Galaxy Blue. That's really... Okay, I want to try it with some Cobalt Turquoise because I love Cobalt Turquoise. So I'm going to put that over here and then just use a teeny bit of this and see what color we get. Add a little more. I really was kind of just experimenting to see if I would really reach for it. That's pretty. Let's compare this with the Indian red. That one, it has a little more red, so I think that would be, let's mix it with the Cobalt Turquoise. I used way too much of the brown. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so that, I think that does make a pretty enough mix that I know I want to keep that. So let's see between the Maroon Brown and the Mars Brown. I do think I want to keep the Umber in there, because it kind of has another, kind of a yellow tone to it. Cobalt Turquoise. And you can do lots of different mixes. Okay, so I think I need just a little bit more. That kind of grayed it out. I don't like that. I really liked it staying brighter, but I need to add more turquoise. So let's try to be fair. They're pretty similar. I think because I do just on its own, I like the Mars Brown a bit better than Maroon Brown. I think I'm gonna swap that out. Kind of got off track there. So I have Hematite Black here, and now I'll swatch out Mars Black, which is just PBK 11, and it's a granulating black. To me, it's the only black worth its salt, I guess you should say, because of the granulation. That's where I am currently in my watercolor journey. So let's see how that does, and then we'll do a bit of mixing. This is much more gray, but let's do some mixing. Let's try this one first with the blue. I added way too much. And it's really pretty mixed in with like manganese violets, but see, look at that. That's a nice deep blue. And you're really pretty. Okay, now let's do the same thing with the Hematite Black, which I think is too gray, but you never know till you try. Try not to contaminate it. I never want to waste a drop of paint, so I have so many plates waiting for me to finish paintings. Starting in May, I'm going to do a challenge for myself to use up all of my plates and in my sketchbooks. And finish a sketchbook in the month of May. All right, so let's compare that. I think I want to add just a bit more blue. I could just mix and play like this all day, make all kinds of different wonderful colors. Swatch that. So we'll let those dry. This is cheaper paper. So, so here's the two colors I just mixed. I probably used a little bit more blue than I did the Hematite Black. So just to make it a little fairer, I'll go in and add some black over here. See what we get, and then I'm going to do the same with the Mars, just because once it dries you can see a difference. So I'm going to put in the Cobalt Cerulean. I have a magnet on the bottom, and I still write the names and put the magnets on the bottom because I'm one of those that I switch my colors out all the time. So, and you can use the clips, but I really like to have both. So I could probably squeeze another half pan in if I want to. Off camera, I'm going to go ahead and make half pans of the Mars Brown and the raw Umber to replace the Maroon Brown, I think. And as I play, I'll just keep tweaking it, and it's, you know, that to me is the fun part. I hope this has been helpful and it's given you guys some ideas or maybe some inspiration to make your own granulating palette. And it is just a lot of fun to kind of create new mixtures, and it's fun. It's really fun when you, the ones Schmincke's given us the ideas for, but it's really fun to come up with your own too. I'll link the palette that I decide on in the description box. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. I got an email this morning that Jackson's is having a sale. So this is one of the palettes that they have on sale, and it's the gold. I think I've used these out of order, but this currently is on sale at Jackson. They also have this metallic palette, and which I love having, but honestly I haven't played with a whole lot. So I couldn't put it in my favorites pile, but it is gorgeous and I'm glad I had it. It was one of the Black Friday deals. it's back at a lower price. I think it's 20% off. And then this palette, they don't have this pretty palette. I believe it'll be black, but this is the one that I wanted to make sure and share because they have this set. It looked like the same colors. So it comes with lemon yellow,